So, I'm making another heavyweight boxing tier list, and joining me now is the Laser Gazer. Do you want to introduce yourself, my friend?
What's going on, guys? Laser Glazer here. 3-year trained amateur fighter, a handful of smokers and hard spars, including professionals. And I was able to work alongside Keith Thurman, former world champion in boxing. And I'm excited to be here with my friend Jalen. Thanks for the opportunity across the pond.
It's absolutely a pleasure as all mine, my friend. Right, let's kick it off then. We've got AJ.
Oh, I'll let you start. We'll do this. We'll do you do one to start. I'll do the one to start. We'll kind of teeter.
We'll bounce, right? I think I might get some flack for this. Obviously,
Okay.
he was here,
Sure.
but now I think he still gives most people problems. And I'll explain later who I think beats him, out of the rest
I'll
of them.
tell you, Ella, you won't get flack from me. He's absolutely dangerous.
Yeah.
He went the distance to Usyk twice, who's a very determined finisher. He's a southpaw. He's tricky. And he still gives a lot of these guys hard times, even guys that are going to be above him. So I think that's the perfect place for Anthony Joshua. People have been going, and hear me out here, people have been going crazy saying, oh, he's a hype job and this and that. And I just disagree. I think he lost to some really good guys. I think he underprepared for his Andy Ruiz Jr. bout, the first one, but with the proper game plan, beat him handedly the second time. And really outside of that, only lost to Usyk, who's the second best heavyweight in the world currently, which we'll get to that.
And some argue the best. So that's literally what it is. Right.
Excellent. Great place for AJ.
So now we have... I'm going to forget. I've completely forgotten his name now, and that's really disrespectful because there's two that I always get confused with. Was it Povetkin?
Yeah, it's
oh no, was it?
It's the guy who knocked out Dillian Whyte, right?
It's Povetkin. It's Povetkin because Pulev is down the list.
I mix him and Pulev up.
Yeah, I don't even know why.
See.
I think
he got knocked out by White their last fight, right?
But he did also beat. He was losing the fight with White. I will say,
right.
White was beating him, and then he caught him with an uppercut because that's literally just the kryptonite for White.
But their last fight, didn't Dillian Whyte knock him out and beat him?
In the rematch, he did beat him. Yeah, but in the first fight, he did catch him.
To me, man, because he's been kind of inactive since. To me, he's either gatekeeper or fallen off.
I think he's gatekeeper because if he can knock White out, the only people that have beaten White, to my knowledge, are him, AJ, and Fury.
Tyson. Yeah, no, that's fair. And then they also did it all by brutal fashion. And Pulev it's Pulev, right?
I'm pretty sure Pulev also fought Klitschko. I'm pretty sure he fought Klitschko.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's tough. I'm okay with putting him at gatekeeper.
Yeah,
because pretty much he's not dangerous because AJ kills him as he's beat him before. I believe.
He might have, but AJ has done the rounds through the division. I don't recall them fighting, but if White could beat him, I'm sure AJ could.
We're going to get to Dillian. We're getting into Derek Chisora now, right?
Yeah.
I'll start us off here. I'm going to be honest. I think Derek Chisora's fallen off.
You think he's fallen off?
Absolutely. I think he loses to AJ. He's in there for a payday against Fury. He doesn't even have a puncher's chance. He's been inactive. He got knocked out by Dillian Whyte, and Dillian Whyte is... Well, I believe, you'll hear my take there, but I think he has to be in fallen off. Unless he does some crazy thing against Fury, he's in fallen off. I don't see an argument where he's even a gatekeeper because the gatekeepers knock him out. You know what I mean?
Right. I get what you mean there, but I know that when he did get recently against... Is it? Pulev, yeah, Pulev. He beat Pulev by a weird call. I'm not sure if he should have won that. I'd have to rewatch it again.
To me, Pulev's fallen off too. So if they're basically drawing, what does that say about Chisora?
Yeah, maybe, I guess. But the last fight I recall, Pulev, the fights I remember Pulev fighting was AJ, when AJ starched him in the 7th or 6th round, I think, when he fought him.
Right.
And then also, I know he fought on that try against Frank Mir, and he just annihilated Frank Mir. who's not a boxer
Yeah,
and is an over the hill UFC fighter.
I don't put any weight. Pulev should be
No.
able to knock a guy like Frank Mir on his feet. People don't understand UFC fighting, boxing compared to our boxing. A regional champ would knock out any of the UFC champions in boxing, even if they have a striking background. It's just true. There's such a different pedigree level to the sport. So anytime a boxer goes in with an MMA guy and holds his own or loses, that's a very bad look, in my opinion.
I personally think I'm teetering on doing on this.
Kind of like, can you put it in the middle between falling off and gatekeeper? I would say that's acceptable.
What, into prospects?
No, he's not a prospect, dude. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's the young up-and-comers.
Yeah, can you just move gatekeeper under prospects? Because to me, prospects have a better chance of a title than gatekeepers.
Yeah, but some prospects have to go through the gatekeepers to actually...
That's true. All right, let's keep him falling off.
We'll keep him falling off.
Keep him falling now.
But if he does well against Fury, then he can easily go into gatekeepers.
All right, I want you to start us off here for this next one. This one's a big one.
Well,
here we go.
Well, it's champs of the division, isn't it? It's Fury. He's done the rounds. He's beaten the Klitschko's. He's beaten the Wilders, who were seen as the main pillars of the heavyweight boxing when he was absent were Klitschko, Wilder, and AJ.
Right.
And obviously, since he came back, he obviously annihilated Klitschko before he went with all the mental health and stuff.
On 2 tune-up fights, knocked out the baddest man in boxing. Well, in their second fight, but you're missing. You almost have him in the right spot. You're close.
Yeah, but I'm gonna save that for the end discussion.
Okay. Whoa!
I'll save that for the end. I'll save it for the end discussion.
Yeah, I don't know if Jalem agrees with me or not.
We'll find out.
So yeah, right. No, but I'll say my on Fury. I'm a huge Fury stan. Crisp, brilliant jab, excellent footwork, very tricky fighter, head movement like a middleweight, feet moving like a middleweight as well, excellent hand speed. He gives every heavyweight in this division problems. We'll see where we place him at the end, but I believe he could make a high place.
Oh, of course. Right, Joyce. There's only one way to put him, and it's there. I am not putting him any lower than there. Just refuse.
The modern day George Foreman, an absolute gladiator that made Joseph Parker look like
a child. Really, it was brutal. I'm a massive Parker fan, and that was hard to watch. That was very hard to watch. Was a Parker fan.
It was. I like Parker. He's a poor man's Tyson Fury, but he's a good dude. That was a brain bashing beatdown. Let me ask you this. Do you think Joe Joyce beats everyone but Fury? Because I do. I honestly do. I think his style is a very, very tricky, hard to beat style where if you don't have the size, he's just going to walk you.
I feel like him versus AJ is definitely one of the fights to make, just to determine who is the better of the two. However, I personally think Wilder, when we'll get to him, it's one of those things. It's just one of those things where Wilder has that X factor. And
do you think Wilder's right hand can put Joe Joyce down, as big of a guy as he is, and how he took Parker's shots? I know Parker's not no pillow puncher, but he's not Deontay Wilder. But
but we've also got to we can't compare Wilder's power to anyone else. So it's it's one of those things. It's not like I'm going to say it's 100% certain Wilder would beat Joyce. I just think Wilder's got a better chance of beating Joyce than majority of people. You could say AJ. I personally think the X Factor makes him more likely to beat Joyce than AJ. I think AJ Joyce is like 50-50 in my opinion. That could sound a bit. I think it's I think people are sleeping on Joshua still. But obviously 50-50, that's still like a 50-50 fight. I would not be surprised if Joyce beat AJ, and I would not be surprised if it's one of those things where I'm gonna do this now. Wilder's there, and if all these three people fought in a rotation, I would not be surprised if any of them beat the other.
Here's my thing: there's heavyweights that have heavy hands like George Foreman, and there's heavyweights that have snap. Deontay Wilder's right hand is pure science, God, voodoo, and snap. It's the snappiest shot in the heavyweight division. It's fucking hard, but it's not like it knocks people out because of the snap. But to me, it's not a heavy punch. If you know what I mean. Joe Joyce just has two bricks in his hands that he throws slow and just breaks down a guy's guard and his defense. I honestly feel like he would knock out Joshua. I think if they fought because of how big he is and how good of a chin he has, where he's just, like they say, a juggernaut, where he can walk through jabs, right hands, hooks. I mean, Parker threw some very big shots, big overhand rights, left hooks, go into the body. And
how old is Joyce now? How old is Joyce now?
I don't know. I don't know. I think
it's you've got to make the argument. You've got to make the argument of like when AJ fought Parker when Parker was undefeated. Right. Who gave Parker the harder fight, and it was Joyce. 100% it was Joyce that gave Parker the harder fight.
I just think Joe Joyce is a very special fighter, but we'll move on here. We have Deontay. We have the Bronze Bomber. Is that right?
The Bronze Bomber. The Bronze Bomber, yeah. It's like, you can't put him anywhere else. He put Tyson Fury on his ass multiple times.
Yeah, go ahead and move him. Just because I'm OCD, put him above AJ and Dangerous.
I'll let you off. I can kind of agree, but the thing is, though, those two fighting is long overdue.
Let's talk about Deontay Wilder. He looked excellent. Now, granted, he was fighting a guy who had fallen off at that point.
B-Tech Fury, yeah.
Right. But, I mean, that right hand, he looked a lot more... I'm a film studier, and I watched the Tyson Fury-Wilder trilogy, The Final Fight, and Wilder had this excellent jab to the body with good footwork that he had never brought to the table before, where it wasn't just a right hand, he had stuff to set it up, and it was giving Fury problems for 3 rounds, and out of nowhere, I don't know if he got cracked or what, I think he did in that second round, he just abandoned it. He stopped jabbing to the body, because here's the thing in the heavyweight division, Jalem, you'll know this because you box near that weight, something about a quick stab to the body fucks with a fighter's mind, right? Yeah. It makes them rethink their game plan. It plays with their timing, their rhythm. It's a very important punch, and I like to see him utilize it more. But to be honest, his right hand starches every heavyweight but Tyson Fury, as he's already gotten past it. He knocks out AJ. He knocks out Joyce. He knocks out Usyk. I think
how tall is Joyce? Is he the same height as Joshua? Or is he bigger?
The only fighter besides Fury that I give Wilder a challenge with is Joyce, just because I wonder if Joyce's chin can take that right hand. He's got a really good chin. He's a big guy. He's a fucking massive dude.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm pretty sure he's undefeated as well, isn't he? Joyce.
Yeah.
He's only been, I'm pretty sure, didn't Joshua beat him in either amateur or the Olympics or something? It was something like that. Yeah, but that was years gone. That was years. Yeah. I was just bringing it up because I was just wondering.
Fighters when they were in who they are now as heavyweight title champions. Oh, they're just so different, right? I mean, look at Fury. Fury didn't even have a huge amateur record. He had 40 fights? Yeah. 33, 40. So let's move on. These are some I could talk to you for hours about
Ortiz. He's got to get in there.
Yeah, he's gatekeeper. He got beat by Andy Ruiz, which Andy Ruiz to me is a top 4, top 5 heavyweight in the current division. But he held his own. He rocked Ruiz at one point, and it's not like he went out there and got knocked out cold. He held his own. In fact, he took Wilder to the cards one time as well. So
it was to the cards, and then they had a rematch, and didn't he knock him out in like the 11th round or something?
Yeah, I watched that fight too because I'm trying to learn in sparring really just how to get past the southpaw using our natural advantages, and Wilder's right hand was brilliant in that fight. So I definitely love him at gatekeeper. Yeah. I will say that I think he does beat God damn it. Who is that in there? Fuck.
Which one? Wallen?
And gatekeeper. I always it's not Pulev, it's damn it. He knocked out Povetkin. That's Povetkin.
Yeah. It's because it's peas. Two peas. It's
peas. People are gonna be like, you guys are casuals, your opinions are
yeah. It's just these two though, like
I think Luis Ortiz beats Povetkin. I think he beats Pulev and Chisora as well. So I think that's a perfect place. I mean, you and I have very similar boxing IQ, so this makes sense. Now let's.
Yeah, I personally think Ortiz and Chisora would make a good fight to make. I just think it'd be just a good two veterans of the sport fighting it out.
It'd be entertaining. I see Ortiz outboxing the life.
I do too. But
a new Chisora. I'll be honest with you. I love Chisora. I have a lot of respect for who he is as a man and a fighter, but he's kind of just out there for a payday these days, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, he knows he has no.
You cannot blame him though. At this point, the thing is, we can all diss him if we can all diss Fury take, I don't agree. Fury should have fought Joyce or AJ instead of Chisora. However, if I was Chisora and Fury offered me millions to get starched, I would take it. I would definitely take it. 100%. And who you getting starched by? Arguably the best in the world. You could debate who is someone else. You could debate it's someone else, but he's arguably the best in the world. Is he still the lineal? Or they stripped him? No, they stripped him, didn't they? They stripped him of the lineal, didn't they? And gave it to Usyk.
Did they? Dillian White did the exact same thing. He got the biggest payday of his life.
Yeah. And he might be getting another one soon with AJ after the 2 days. But I agree with that. I agree with where Povetkin is and where Ortiz is.
I do think they're looking at AJ Wilder, which to me is such a better fight. We needed that fight for years, man. Yeah. I just don't think Hearn takes that fight. But
no, it's definitely he'll definitely want him to fight White. It's a winnable fight for sure.
Yeah, it's a good confidence booster. He's winning by knockout if he fights White. But we'll move on. We have in front of us here.
It's Wallin.
It's Otto Wallin.
I know when Fury came back, he fought Wallin. Yeah. And Wallin did give him trouble.
Bashing, didn't he? He bashed his eye in.
Yeah, however, that was Fury when he was coming back. And he was bouncing off everything.
Fury still won that fight by a wide margin, in my opinion. But Wallin, didn't he also have a couple notable fights against some of the gate? Like, didn't he fight? Who else did he fight? I knew he had a fight where he beat someone. Let me pull up his record real quick here. Wallin, so he gave Fury, technically Fury's hard. Well, no. Wilder gave Fury his hardest. Actually, you can argue Steve Cunningham did.
Yeah. I'm trying to think who you're on about. I know he fought.
Yeah, let me. I'm just going to pull this up real quick here.
But I think that's a solid place for him to be. Well,
yeah, no, I completely agree.
I don't know how active he is though. I've not heard a lot from him in a while. Like he could have fought recently for all I know.
He doesn't. That's the thing. I think it comes down to a lot of these heavyweights. It's just activity. That's why I think you have such a best chance to make it weight because if you just outwork the guys. So yeah, like he beat Dominic Brazil, which is a guy. But it's a guy that Deontay Wilder knocked out pretty easily.
Yeah.
I'm pulling up this box rec right now. So he's currently ranked number 15th in the world, and he beat. Rydell Booker, Dominic. Yes, it was Dominic Brazil. Tyson Fury, he lost to. Yeah, honestly, I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe not in contenders then. Maybe not in contenders.
Yeah,
maybe that's not.
No, take him out of contender. The only way to give him because he has no fights. That's it. He has Dominic Brazil and Tyson, and he's inactive. Yeah, Gatekeeper's fair though.
I think Gatekeeper's fair.
The only thing he gets contender for is what? Putting damage on an out of shape Fury. I mean, I don't think that.
Years ago. Yeah, it's not. It doesn't talk to scratch now. If he did that now, that would be for sure be shooting him up here, like 100%. Like if but he's not now.
If he was able to do that to the Tyson Fury we see now, that's in shape and fights well, he's dangerous.
100%. But sadly, that's not the case.
We'll move on. We got your man. We got Joseph Parker.
He's not going below contenders. Put my foot down.
Okay.
I think that's fair because he's lost to AJ and Joyce, but he's also beaten Chisora, who you could argue is obviously over the hill. He beats Chisora twice.
Yeah, I also think he absolutely handles Wallin, Povetkin, and Luis Ortiz after standing toe-to-toe with Joyce as long as he did.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest, man. I think he's got it. We should have, before making this video, we'll do it maybe like a part 2 of an all times if this gets a lot of traction. But we got to do a hang the gloves up. Because in my opinion, like Parker's took such a beating from that fight, I'd almost have him hang the gloves up after that, didn't it?
I get what you mean, yeah, but you've got to say, like, he definitely has. He's fought AJ. He got AJ, good fight. He fought AJ when he was undefeated. He lost his belt.
Right.
He beat. I'll move on and bring this up. He beat Ruiz. I'm pretty sure Ruiz is on his record of people that he's beaten.
Did he? Yeah, I think you're right. I think he did beat Ruiz.
I'm pretty sure he beat Ruiz. Check my source. I could be completely wrong, but I'm 99% sure he beat Ruiz.
I think you're right. I thought Ruiz beat him, but let's just give it a go here.
He might have actually. I might be just dick riding a bit, but I'm pretty sure.
I promise we're not casuals. They just fought such a long time ago.
Yeah. It was so long. I was having this discussion with my dad, I remember. It was when it was AJ versus Parker. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So
great fight that was.
When the whole distance Parker.
My favorite heavyweight fights of all time was AJ Klitschko. That was a great fight.
That was such a good back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah. Give me 1 second.
Here we go. Did he?
I'm pulling the sources. By the way, I'm not wrong. The WBC has him ranked in the top 5 as well, so I'm not crazy for that. Not to say you said I was, but let's see here. There he is, Joseph Parker, and he lost by a majority decision.
Oh, to Ruiz.
Yeah, so Parker's beating Ruiz by decision. Now we're rating.
No, he did beat Ruiz by decision.
Correct.
Oh, okay. I thought he didn't, and I was like, oh no.
we're rating him on what they all currently are. So go ahead and take Ruiz back to the line, unless Ruiz was next, because Ruiz.
I think Ruiz was next, and I believe Ruiz is there. But obviously, we've got to see how he performs against. Like, I was about to swear then. We need to see how he performs against Wilder. I know Wilder's literally like, God, like that's a challenge. But we don't know. Like,
beaten Anthony Joshua. He's a former world title holder. He's dangerous. I'm sorry. His hand speed, his resume. He knocked out Anthony. He stopped Anthony Joshua.
But you could argue the whole argument out of that though is Joshua did not take it seriously, and also, but you could argue about the second fight. Ruiz clearly didn't take it seriously because he put on 2 stone.
Correct. He did put on a lot of weight. He wasn't ready for the moment. Joshua stuck to his game plan, but the fact still stands.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I could see why you would put him in danger because his fast hands and
he has the second to most fastest hands in the heavyweight division. Let me make my argument here. He has the second fastest hands in the heavyweight division. The only other man who knocked down Anthony Joshua was Klitschko, Andy Ruiz, and I believe that's it. Not even Dillian White was able to knock him down. So
I don't believe he did though.
Was not only able to knock him down, but finish him. He's got to be dangerous, man. Like, I get, because here's the thing. When he fought Parker, that was early in his career. Really. I don't know. I'm going to let you make that pick because I've been given leeway on others.
I get what you mean. Yeah, I can kind of get what you mean. Yeah. I don't know. We'll come back to it. We'll come back to it, and then we'll decide again.
Oh, no. We still have 2 pictures of Usyk.
I know, yeah, we do. But, like, we know where he's going. Don't we?
Yeah,
he's champs of the division because he is. Like, put him in twice.
Modern day Evander Holyfield, an absolute talent in the sport. His footwork is scary. He gives Tyson Fury his toughest fight, either him or Joe Joyce, because styles make fights. I'm sorry, Joe Joyce he's an interesting fight for Tyson Fury. I can't lie. I think his slow feet lose him the fight, but Usyk, I just think
Usyk versus Fury is literally just David versus Goliath. That is literally what it is.
The size difference is just
it's ginormous. I'm pretty sure Usyk is the smallest heavyweight right now, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's one of.
He's 215 or 20 pounds, and he's 5'11". He's 5'11".
But he can crack. He shook Joshua up. He can still crack. But Joshua, I'll give Joshua his due, though. When he fought him the second time, he did, when he started throwing his hands a bit more, he was hurting Usyk. Because obviously, they can all hurt each other. They're all massive individuals.
You know what I noticed, and I hope Fury's team knows this. Fury has a great boxing IQ. His trainers are an excellent team. Usyk does not have a great body. When Joshua was able to go to the body, he winced and hurt him to the body, and Fury has good body work inside. So that could be Usyk's downfall to me. If you really watch that fight back, the second fight, Joshua's game plan was to get in Usyk's body, and it worked. I don't know if he was tired or exhausted or what, but I think he was hurt. He winced.
With Joshua as well, I don't think Joyce has a better chance of beating Usyk than AJ, only because AJ's pace is, I'm active for 3 rounds. I'm going to take 2 rounds off. I'm active for 2 rounds. I'll take 2 rounds off. That's what it's like, and it gives him time to recover. And I don't know if that's a gas tank thing or like I don't know what it is, but
He's such a he's great at what he does, the fundamentals, but he's such a telegraph fighter. 1-1-2, 1-2-3, 1-1-1-2. He fights like he fights long, fights tall, like a European fighter. But he's like a Harding punching Klitschko. But the problem is that style is so beatable nowadays.
yeah,
Like I think Joyce can smother that style.
He's very experienced though as an amateur. Has he got like 200 plus fights or something stupid like that?
Yeah, Joshua's amateur background is great, but it's all about I think his confidence as a fighter. Like he's not tanked yet. He's still clearly a top 5. But if he were to lose to Dillian White, right, or say someone like that, that'd be a problem. I don't
think that's gonna happen.
No, he won't.
I think if he fights, it's weird because if he fights Joyce, he's being beaten by someone that's seen as kind of his equal, so it's not as bad. Because someone has to lose, unless you draw. You're gonna have to get a rematch.
Right.
But like,
I think he beats Parker up. Honestly, Parker's chin's now a little rattled. I mean, he got beat badly by Joyce. He got his brain rattled. I'm gonna be honest. In my opinion, right, I think Joshua knocks everyone out but Wilder, Usyk, and Fury, or Joyce. Joyce's style is just so, because I feel like Joyce can just smother Joshua. Because here's the thing: Joshua doesn't have much hand speed either, and he doesn't have a large output. So when you don't have both of those things, and you're fighting long, and someone gets inside, what happens? Now you are smothered. And we've seen Joshua on the inside. When he goes toe to toe with slower guys, he does well. But when Usyk got on the inside of him, it was a problem. He didn't know how to manage it. He didn't find an answer. When Ruiz was able to get inside of his jab, same deal. First fight, wasn't able to answer. Went toe to toe with a guy that had hand speed, and what happened? He got beat. So I think Joshua is still clearly a top 3, top 4, but I think he's a very beatable fighter currently with those other 5. But yeah, let's.
I agree to an extent. Yeah, right.
Dillian White. I'm gonna be honest, dude. I think he's fallen off. Man.
I don't know. I think he beats. I think he does beat these people, though. Personally, I think he's gatekeeper.
What do you see Jermaine Franklin as, right? Because in my opinion, when I watched that fight, it's a draw or Jermaine Franklin won due to output, punches landed, whatever. And I'm going to be honest, bro, to me, right, if Dillian White goes the distance and barely hurts Jermaine Franklin, who is, a top 30 guy, that's not good. And seeing how he's digressed since some of his bigger fights, like knocking out Chisora, then what? He went on to get knocked out by Povetkin, knocked out by Fury, and taken to a decision where he arguably lost to Jermaine Franklin, who's frankly a nobody. So put him where you want. I know you love him too. You're a Brit, right? So you gotta fight for your guy. But I just personally believe Wallin outboxes him, Luis Ortiz outboxes him, Povetkin could beat him again, and Jermaine Franklin would win at a rematch. So to me, that puts him in falling off. I think what happens is he goes to fight AJ, like you said, gets his ride in the sunset, gets knocked out badly again, and that's it. He's done. But I don't know. I can see an argument. Maybe he hangs with Franklin in the second fight. Maybe he hangs with Ortiz with how old he is. I just think Dillian White is a flawed fighter. He has great body work, good power, but like his right hand is non-existent half the time. You need to use both hands. His pacing is bad. His cross guard is terrible. It just sets him up to get fucking landed on. It gives his opponent. You saw in Jermaine Franklin, who's nothing special really, load 3 or 4 punch combinations and land moderately cleanly.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think I make a good argument. Gatekeeper, I'll accept. He's not even close to a contender.
No,
he's not close to a contender.
Both Parker and Ruiz do beat him comfortably. All right. Franklin is weird. I can't.
By the way, I love talking shop with this. You're a good lad. You're a good dude.
It's Fabian Jalom, isn't it? So of course it's a vibe. But no, it's one of those things with Franklin. Like, I can't see him being contender because I know he arguably won or drew against White, but it was still close. You know, it was still very close.
He needs to fight a guy. Like, I could see Joshua trying him. Honestly, I could see Joshua taking that fight just to get what he thinks a confidence fight. And if he hangs with Joshua, then we'll talk about contender. For right now, he's a gatekeeper.
Yeah, he's a young gate. Well, how old is he? He's not old, is he? I don't think.
I think he is. I think he might be in his 30s. Let me check here real quick.
Because I thought he was a bit younger.
Yeah, and he's actually from not my hometown, but my home state of Indiana. He's from Gary, Indiana, which is a really cool story because no one famous or good is from Indiana. Jermaine Franklin. Let me pull up the age here. Because I had actually studied, so I told people this. Yeah, he's 31. I was right. He's in his early 30s. So he still has time. I think heavyweights can fight till they're in their 40s if they're good enough.
Yeah.
Honestly. Because my logic for that is George Foreman won a title at 45, I believe it was, right? So here's my thing. Jermaine Franklin, I watched his old fights, and he fought a guy who was decent. I think it was the guy that fought Usyk for his first heavyweight fight. And his hand speed was something I noticed for his size was very impressive. And I even told some friends of mine, I was like, he's going to give White problems. And everyone thought, even you probably thought, oh, this is a walk in the park. White's going to knock him out, get back on the spree. Franklin gave him a great fight to a point where you can call it either a draw or a decision to Franklin. I mean, so I would put him right either. I would either put him right under Dillian White or right over. It depends how you saw the fight. And at the end of the day, you're the host, so I'll let you make the pick.
I personally think it was more in his favour or draw, so I'm going to keep it as it is. And that's coming from someone that likes White. He just wasn't doing enough. But
respect that.
But yeah, no, I still think White belongs in gatekeeper. Just because I still think he beat Povetkin, and I think he could do it again. Povetkin, I think, just got lucky. Not lucky. He timed it well, but I
think Povetkin is really underrated. I think he's perfectly rated for where we have him, but I think he's good, dude. I like Povetkin a lot.
A lot of these people are in the top 15, 20, so of course they're very good. Sure. But
okay, no. I like that. Move on. We're going to go for Daniel Dubois. I love Daniel Dubois.
Obvious prospect.
Definitely a prospect. Do you remember his fight with Joe Joyce that he had? Or Joe Joyce bludgeoned his eye with the jab.
Yeah.
That was his first test. He reached, he's with Frank Warren, I believe. Frank Warren pushed him a little too far. They thought he was going to be able to get a big win there. Dubois has some time.
He's younger, I believe.
He's a young 24. I think he's 24 years of age. Right now is the time, if you're a promoter, and this is what they're doing, just build some confidence. He took too big of a leap. Give him a chance. Maybe have him fight like an older Joseph Parker down the line, or even a Jermaine Franklin, something like that. Dubois is a boxer himself. I like his style. Again, very similar to AJ's. Jab, right hand, 1-1-2. He has good power, really good discipline style. But I think he's very beatable as well. Like, I would even argue, I think all the gatekeepers beat him right now, honestly.
Yeah, I believe it's definitely an experience issue because, you could put him in there with them now, but the thing is, though, they're going to be a lot more savvy than him when it comes to boxing.
No, I agree with that, Joe. I mean, he's young, but he's not some freak prospect like Mike Tyson. Where he can just,
he's not got that he's not got that X factor like someone like Wilder or those bricks like Joyce has.
Very beatable style. So I like where we have it, and then we're moving on here. This is
it's like Philly, Paul. I can't remember. He fought Zhang. He fought Zhang, didn't he?
Yeah, and he should have lost to Zhang. That was a horribly scored fight. So honestly, you can put him in prospect or falling off. He's still young. He beat up Wilder in sparring badly. There's a video of it online, which says something. So I think he's a prospect. He's still pretty young. He hasn't fought anyone super big yet. And then also, we'll just get right. Unless you have any other things to say about Zhilei Zhang, he's pretty. He's an interesting fighter. Yeah, I agree. I was going to put Zhang in.
I'll put him there.
He's older, but he's still a prospect because he hasn't fought anyone big. And also, while we're on the topic, bruv, I'll put Frank Sanchez as a prospect. I really will. He beat Efe Ajagba, and Ajagba was supposed to be a hot prospect. He beat him. I think that was his biggest fight, though.
Which one's Frank Sanchez? Which one is that? Because I'm trying to think which one it is. Because some of these guys
are heavyweight. He trained with Canelo, has an excellent amateur pedigree, and he just beat Efe Ajagba. I think decision. Let's do this. Let me pull up his record again here. But he's someone to look at. A lot of people, I thought it was a casual take, but a lot of people thought online he can hang with a Wilder or hang with this. And that's why I personally think he's a prospect. He just has so much more time to prove stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He has a lot more, like, maybe him versus Ruiz is a good fight. But here you go. So, like, he's 13th in the world. Some of his notable wins are against Christian Hammer. He's okay. He beat Ajagba by unanimous decision. And honestly, that's really it. So I'd put him in prospect. He hasn't beat anyone big yet. He did beat Ajagba, which is, I would say, pretty impressive for the time because Ajagba was like a really quote-unquote feared up-and-coming heavyweight, and he kind of got exposed. He's 21-0. He's a perfect prospect. I think he's an excellent. He's 30 years old. He's still younger. Yeah, I think he's a good prospect.
I filled in these aren't in order, but I don't think any of these people can jump and leap past into contender. This is where I'd put everyone.
Because I'm crazy for this, but this is what I was hoping we would do. And you may not even let me move the muscle, but I'll agree, right? So that's Huey Fury in prospect as well.
Yeah.
Is that what I see?
That's Huey though, yeah.
I agree with that. I agree with the other guy because I don't know him well, Michael Hunter. Jared Anderson. Now, here's where it gets crazy. He hasn't been tested yet, so my argument's completely off speculation. I think he's a monster. He uses the Philly shell, which most heavyweights do not get away with doing that. He's athletic. He's 21 years old, two-time national champion, one-time qualifying Olympian. He's beaten some rough and tough journeymen already. If it was my list and I was host, I would have him at contender. Here's my final argument why. I know it's crazy, tell him. He sparred with Tyson Fury to prepare him for Deontay Wilder, and there was rumors that Jared dropped Fury in sparring. So in my opinion, if those rumors are true, if he's this young phenom that I believe he is, I think he's going to be a champion of the world in the next 5 years, depending on what the landscape looks like, and he dropped Fury, he has to be a contender.
I believe if there was solid evidence of it happening, I would kind of be inclined to believe you. However, sparring isn't fighting.
I agree.
It's one of those things where as soon as we see him take on a gatekeeper and beat a gatekeeper, he even if he just beats them, because he's young still, these people in gatekeeper are allowed to get the best of you in the exchanges because they're savvy, older veterans. They know all of them are arguably because they all are. They're all veterans of the game. That's why they're so like these like positions. They're basically the positions are very like the top like 7 or 8 are kind of all just changing with each other. They're not really like no one new.
We're not talking about journeymen. We're talking about tested gatekeepers.
The best in the world.
Are incredible. So listen, like I said, if I was hosting, I would put my balls on the table. I'd put Anderson a contender to beat both Parker and Ruiz, as crazy as that sounds. But we'll see. It's very early for me to do that. It's very emotional for me to do that because I like the kid a lot. He's flashy. He's cool. He put a lot. He gave his mom like $100,000. Cool dude. Great talent. Really excited. He looks like the future, but prospects fair. Now, we're left with one final question. Toe-to-toe, distance to distance, round for round, fight for fight. Which heavyweight on this list beats all of them? Boogeyman, Derek Chisora!
Right.
That's it. That's the end of the video.
That's it. It's just Chisora. No, we've got to serious now. I personally think.
Hold on. I think what we should do is work from bottom to top. So start at dangerous. Hell, we could even start at contender. So for me, right, Joseph Parker loses to everyone in dangerous and champions of the division.
Yeah, Ruiz, I agree.
Okay, hear me out. If Ruiz has beaten Joshua, shouldn't he be at least at the lower end of dangerous? Come on, if he's beaten Joshua. I'll tell you what.
It depends how you see it. I can get what you mean.
Hold on. You put Ruiz in there and then let Parker follow him. Since Parker's beat Ruiz. Let's do that.
No, I can live with that. And then we could do that.
Yeah. It makes me think with contender. No. So in my opinion, Ruiz loses to everyone up top, including double Usyk. Parker, same thing. Joe Joyce, I'll say my opinion, then I want you to work top to bottom. Joe Joyce, he gives Tyson Fury problems, but I think the speed, footwork, and elusiveness will be too much to lose via decision. Joshua beats all but Fury, Wilder, and Usyk, as we've seen. Wilder can beat everyone here but Fury, because we've seen it time and time again. And Usyk is just too small for as good of a boxer as he is to beat Tyson Fury. So that would mean, for my opinion, for the pick of the greatest heavyweight of this current time and generation, Tyson Fury. No.
Right.
Fury. But we got to see what the host thinks. Let's see what happens when you work bottom to top.
Right. I think Ruiz and Parker is still very close. I think Joyce does beat Parker because we've seen it. I think Joyce beats I was about to swear again then. Joyce beats Ruiz as well. Personally, I think. Ruiz, it depends on which Joshua shows up. If a prepared Joshua comes and faces Ruiz, I think Joshua beats Ruiz.
100%. Wilder
is just a freak of nature with the X factor in his right hand. So I think this is a bit weird to say this. I think Wilder and Joyce have the best chance of beating Usyk out of the ones below.
I agree.
In dangerous, because obviously Joyce is one of those people where Joyce is more aggressive than AJ, and he's more likely to put it on to hurt him.
Big man.
Yeah, he's big. But obviously, then there's Wilder, where AJ showed that Usyk can get buzzed if you hit him, because he's buzzed him in the second fight. And obviously, let's be real, when we're comparing punching power, say if AJ got a 9, like a 999, and then Tyson might have got like a 998 or 999, or whoever you argue is a harder punch. Wilder just breaks it. It's like he's just stupid. So I think out of all of them, Wilder just needs to land a few of those good shots, and then anyone can go down really. But people, it's a conversation I've had with people. Some people say Usyk is a poor man's Tyson Fury, just because of the size.
Disagree with that, though. I mean,
I don't necessarily agree with it, but it's how you see it. You have, if you did it with numbers, I know this is not a good way of analysing it. You have Usyk. I believe Usyk is more technically skilled than Fury. I believe that. Give Usyk a 10 on skill, the skill board, and then like a 6 or 7 on size, and then like a speed like a 9. Then you give Tyson, he gets like a 9 on skill,
an
11 on size, because he just breaks it. He's ridiculously big, and he's deceivingly fast. So it's one of those things where you could work the body on Tyson, you could give it a go, but that is one freakishly built individual with really long legs, and you know what I mean?
He's so quick for his size.
His size is a freak as well, in his own way. And I agree. I'm just finishing that. I just agree with Fury. I think Usyk gives him issues, don't get me wrong, but I still
Yeah.
believe Fury beats him.
So, because you and I, would you say you're a Tyson Fury stan? Because I will. I'll openly admit. And I do believe even outside of that, objectively, he could arguably beat any heavyweight because of just how his size and style is so hard to beat. I will stand on that claim. I've made that. A lot of people flame me. I think Tyson Fury beats any heavyweight of all time. Too big, too fast, moves too fluid. Maybe a prime Mike Tyson gets to his body and is able to open up the head. Maybe Muhammad Ali is just he's a little faster, better footwork, but he's just such a smaller Tyson Fury. So my point is this. If you melted down Tyson Fury to Usyk's size, because I'm trying to give validity to the other side. People are like, oh, they're going to be like in the comments, oh, you're dick riding, gentlemen, you're dick riding. If you melt down Usyk, or if you melt down Tyson Fury to Usyk's size and build, Usyk wins that fight 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, maybe not 10 times out of 10 because it's still comparable, but
right.
I agree, like 9 or 8 times out of 10. But that's what it is. That's why I gave it an 11 in size. But even then, this size doesn't detriment this speed. It's just ridiculous. Yeah. Like you could argue I know someone like Tyson is faster than people like AJ. Like he just is. Like you can see his movement and stuff, and he's got a good gas tank on him as well. Surprisingly for his size. And the build of him, you'd look at him, you wouldn't think he would be, but just shows big muscles don't make you a good boxer. But that's personally why I think that list is. There's a few interchangeables where you could argue that some are above others. Like you could maybe say you could move some people, but I feel like that's kind of solid because I do believe Franklin as well is getting the better of a lot of these people, but they're all good.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
What I hate is people, and they're usually OGs, and they're like, oh, they don't make heavyweights like they used to. You're right. They make them better. They make them faster. You can Google the statistics. Higher punch output, more knockouts. More stoppages, right? Because they're not knockout cold. I think we're in a golden heavy. We're in a good heavyweight division.
The only issue with that is though we've got the cream of the crop. But it's not being harvested. No one's fighting. And that is boxing today. That's what it means. That's what it is. That's what boxing's wrong today. It's not the fight. It's not all the time. Sometimes the fighters do get negotiations and they are a bit awkward. The bigger names.
In all fairness, we have gotten some bigger fights.
Oh, we're getting them now. We're getting them now.
We're looking at Ruiz, Wilder. I think this next year into 2024 is going to open the floodgates where promoters are going to realize, well, we have to start making moves, right? Bud Crawford, Earl Spence, Fury Usyk, Joshua Wilder. You got to protect but you don't. You got to fight. You got to make it about a fight. People are trying to protect. These promoters are looking at these fighters like stock markets. They're my little golden chips. And and Hearn is thinking, if my poor Joshua, right? If he gets hurt one more time, his stock's going to plummet. If he gets knocked out one more time, he's going to plummet. If he gets beat one more time, he's going to plummet. Because I'll be honest, if Joshua goes out there with Dillian Whyte, and I don't believe this will happen, and gets starched, left hook, whatever, Dillian Whyte comes in shape, he's serious, he wants to give it his all, catches him left hook, that's it. To me, I think Joshua just rides the rest out for money, but he will never get a big opportunity again because that will plummet the stock. That will make him look like a hype job. But that's just my take. I think we see Fury beat all these guys and then retire on top. I seriously think he will go down as the greatest heavyweight of all time once he beats all these guys. And he loves boxing the way, you and I do, where he just doesn't want to give up. He might fight in his 40s.
We never know. He could take a layoff and then come back again, for all we know.
I said that for jokes. I love Tyson Fury. But, Jalen, that's our list. It was an absolute pleasure, man. I'm excited to see this on YouTube and share it to my friends. And, the boys are going to love it in the community. Absolute pleasure, man. I'm excited to see this on YouTube and share it to my friends. And, the boys are going to love it in the community.